Greetings from my office, where I found myself recreating a lot of stories that I've picked up in the past that really I've worked through, but hey, healing is eternal, about what's required for success. And I've taken this really beautiful, challenging pause in my business. And so now as I'm coming back, when I have this really exciting new container to offer, and I'm thrilled to invite you into, I caught myself falling into okay, wait, how do I launch the things? What's required? How do I map out an offer? And the truth is I have all of these beautiful structures, right? The divine masculine side of my business, which I will be teaching you in this container, that make it easier for me to channel my creative process and actually create consistency and stability and sustainability within my business. And they are not required. So I caught myself shifting into this oh, what's required? I have to make a free challenge and I have to create a bunch of content and I got to build it up. And so I can't, all of a sudden I was telling myself I can't start inviting people into this and talking about it for another 2 weeks. And so I decided to say bullshit, because it is bullshit, and do what feels really nourishing. So here's this video. The reason I share that sort of introductory piece is if doing business that way, succeeding that way, in a way that is nourishing for you, that honors your energy, that honors your body, that honors your life and your lifestyle and whatever, if that is interesting, this is going to be an interesting program for you. So the impetus, why I created this container, which really is an evolution. It's a building on the way that I teach business, the way that I build business, is that over the last 6 weeks, I have been in virtual rooms, been in Zoom rooms with probably at least 50, with a bunch of really incredible healers, artists, activists, visionaries, writers, content marketers, right? We'll talk more about healing in a second, but with these really incredible practitioners who don't feel confident enough to actually say, I'm a great practitioner, I'm a great storyteller, and that has value. Here's how I share that with the world and get paid to do so, right? Or I'm a really great energy worker and it's all intuitive. I don't have a fancy certification. And here's the value of that. Here's how you book a session with me. There are too many business owners who are influencers, are wildly successful, are whatever, right? Because they had the confidence more so than the skill set. There are too many practitioners who are amazing and could be having such an incredible impact, but that impact is being choked off because you are really flooded and overwhelmed by the technology, because you're I don't know what to charge. And you've done all the mindset work of okay, I know that charging is valuable, but you're still in this web of capitalism? Is it actually yes, my work is valuable, my work is in tremendous service, and I still feel squirrely about charging. There are too many people who could be changing the world, deserve to stop struggling, at least to be able to pay your bills with ease, to be able to not have to do work that is life draining for you just so that you can get by. And ultimately I kept sitting in these rooms and finding myself in there realizing wait, I know how to help these people. I know how to help you build a business in a way that is regenerative business, is really the term that I come back to, which means that instead of it draining your work, draining your energy, draining your life force, leaving you feeling more exhausted and depleted after than when you started, you can build a business that is regenerative for you, that leaves you feeling fulfilled. I'm not going to say you won't ever be tired. After a long day of coaching, I get tired, but I also feel nourished in such a crazy, wonderful, magical way. My husband calls it the drug of coaching. He's like, are you on coaching right now? I'm like, yes, I'm on coaching. And that regenerative experience is possible, right? It's the experience of, if you're an artist, how you feel after you've been in the creative process in that incubator, right? So that's the regenerative for you side. Yes, you get paid. You get paid in a way that feels equitable and that equally balances your desire for social and economic and racial justice with your desire to make money and pay your bills and like maybe get a massage or buy the lovely essential oils that you want or have the crystals that you crave or support your energy healer and pay them the way that they deserve to be compensated, right? That's the regenerative side for you. The regenerative side for your clients, your customers, your students, your patrons, whatever you call your people, your community, is done by answering the question, exploring the question, creating your business from the question, how do we build anti-capitalist businesses within a capitalist system? I'm not going to lie to you. It's a complicated question, and it's an evolving question. My business has become progressively more anti-capitalist as I've learned more, and ultimately I'm at a point where I have enough practices in place, I've answered enough questions, I have enough structure that I feel like I can invite you into this exploration with me as you are building your business. So I've yet to name this. I've jokingly called it Anti-Capitalist Business School for Aliens. If you are someone who identifies as alien soul, you feel a little out of place. Maybe you've been in other business programs before, or other coaching programs, other creation programs, and you're like, oh, wait, I'm amongst the weirdos, but I still feel like a weirdo, right? I'm amongst the other crazy entrepreneurs who think that we could make money in a way that feels easeful and nourishing, but you still feel like a weirdo. You might belong here. I often call my community lovingly the island of misfit toys, because I feel like a misfit toy. I felt like a misfit toy in pretty much every container I've ever been in until I started creating my own. So, anti-capitalist business school for aliens and misfits and people who want to do things differently, but who also don't totally feel like in the spiritual space, right? There's a lot of talk about new paradigm business or business in the Aquarian age and the new way and the new earth and new leadership, la 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 la, which I resonate with. And yet there's also this piece of like, wait, but like I'm not mystical enough. I'm not esoteric enough. I'm not spiritual enough. So if that's you, welcome home. Now, I often coin myself business coach for healers. And in many ways, a lot of the people who come to me resonate with that label. But I think it's important to note that this is not just for life coaches, spiritual teachers, energy workers, Akashic records readers, whatever. All of y'all will be deeply well served. If you identify with a label of healer, you will be deeply well served in this space. If you identify as a healer and want to make a living, whatever that means for you, that can be $50,000 a year, that can be $500,000 a year, that can be $5 million a year. And like whatever your success is, your making a living is, this will help you to start up, sustain, and scale. So it's also for you, though, if you are an online business manager or a virtual assistant or a content marketer or a sales coach or an accountant, someone who, dear God, people who work in finances, like y'all have incredible healing potential. So if you are someone who identifies with approaching business in a healing-oriented, regenerative, justice-oriented way, this will serve you. So, what does this container look like? So when you start out, when you join us, you're gonna it's kind of a little bit of a choose your own adventure. You remember choose your own adventure books? So there are 3 different kind of roadmaps, 3 different adventures. And that's a benefit, especially if you're starting out here. This container can grow with you, right? So there's the startup, the sustaining, and the scaling roadmap. Because ultimately, when you are starting out in business, you need different things than when you are kind of sustaining. You're in a phase where you're like, I've launched a couple of things, but like, things are a little inconsistent. I need to like edit my programs a little bit, really figure out what's working, make sure my foundations are in check so I can sustain, right? And then scaling is I'm consistent and I want to get to, I've been making $3,000 a month and I want to start making 10,000, or I'm making 10 and I want to start making 20, or I'm making 20, I want to start making 100, whatever. When you're scaling. So this container is going to meet you where you're at, and it is designed around your needs. So when you're starting up, there's a lot more knowledge. You do have some learning to do, right? There is, who am I? What does my brand stand for? What are my core values? Some foundational brand building development. Then there's offering creation. How do I create a program, product, or service that meets the community I want to meet and also delivers the result I want to deliver? And then we have to figure out pricing. So all of that is included. If you join us, if it feels correct for you, and you take the action, I do not take the action for you. If you join us and take the action, you will walk away with at least one really potent program, product, or service that is an encapsulation of your unique magic and medicine. You will understand how to market that and sell that. I teach organic content marketing predominantly. I have some ads knowledge, but mainly I do organic marketing. So we're not going to get into complicated funnels, though in the scaling section, there are going to be resources on that. If you're in the scaling section, we will talk about ads, funnels, whatever. So you'll have a program, product, or service that encapsulates your medicine. You'll understand what to charge for it in a way that balances your needs and desires with your desire to be a good person, your desire for racial, economic, social, environmental justice. Balance. So we're exploring business models that probably don't look like a lot of what you've seen done. We are throwing out the templates. This is not a program where I am just regurgitating what I've learned from other coaches or seen from other coaches. This is pulling in tons and tons of research I've done from philosophers, from activists, from attorneys, from economists. So it's a lot. But ultimately, I'm taking all of that knowledge, giving you knowledge. I won't hold anything back, but making it so that you don't have to go consume a bunch of economic theory in order to figure out how do I build a regenerative, restorative, justice-based business that also supports my needs. Because you martyring yourself is not the answer. It's just not. We're going to learn, referencing my notes. So it's designed as part like digital course. There's going to be a suite of learning content. I'm big on learning design so that you are not overwhelmed. It's not going to be a course where you have I'm not going to brag about the fact that you get 40 hours of content. Unless you need 40 hours of content, which you probably don't. There's also going to be a lot of live support. So live coaching calls and live implementation labs is what I call them, where you are actually going to start practicing developing the skill set, like practicing sales calls, practicing putting together a workshop, sharing your offerings and getting feedback on them. I have a lot of signature containers that allow you to develop these skill sets. And then there's also, as always, all of the healing, trauma-informed confidence building. So We do the mindset work, but it's a trauma-informed approach to mindset work. It is a whole body approach to mindset work. So you're doing the autonomic nervous system rewiring so that you can actually sustain this, so that you don't burn yourself out, so that you can feel safe enough to put yourself out there, safe enough to be seen, safe enough and resilient enough to keep going, to pivot when it feels like things aren't working. It's part learn on your own, digital content. It's part live coaching. It's part live kind of offerings, workshops where you're testing things out, right? Skills labs, think about it, where you're trying things out and getting actual feedback on, hey, this marketing post, it feels kind of funky. Or hey, the way that you're doing a sales call feels a little bit old paradigm-y. Why don't you try this? Or hey, that's not as trauma-informed as it could be. How about you, what if you do this? You'll walk away with at least one program, product, or service that feels really, really, really yummy to you, that you feel really good about charging for, that you feel really good about charging for, that you feel really good what you're charging. You'll also walk away with a very clear impact model of what is my business, one that is, it's a business plan, but it is fluid enough to grow with you. We balance masculine and feminine energetic. So you have the energetic side of your biz and then the masculine side of your biz. We do both. And it's going to grow with you. It's going to grow with you. So if this feels interesting, send me a message on Instagram, send me an email, chelsea@chelseaquint.com. I'm going to add some information in the description of this video. And if you have questions, let me know. We can voice note about this if you're wondering if it would be a fit. Ultimately, though, this is really a very intuitive decision. I'm here to answer any questions you have. But if you think it will be a fit, it probably will be. And it is safe for you to trust that. It is safe for you to trust yourself. I'm not going to convince you that it'll be a fit. If that's why you're reaching out, I don't do that. There are sliding scale options. There are payment plans available. If you are someone who is in a marginalized population, there are 2 scholarships available. So you can reach out to me about that and tell me about what interests you, what draws you to the program. And that's what I got. Let me know what questions you have. It's going to be a really yummy container. We're going to hang out for 3 months going through the structural details. More on the structural details below, because this is more about the energy. If this feels yummy, I would love for you to join us. And that's what I got, my friend. I look forward to helping you build a low-key anti-capitalist regenerative business that does justice work and activism work and helps change the fucking world. Thank you for watching. I'm stoked to hear from you, and I'll talk to you soon.